when you get into real estate and you're just starting out, single families are great because they're very affordable. However, what I found is that there's a little bit of a greater risk, because if the tenant doesn't pay the rent, then you don't have any other way to sort of be able to come up with the money for either the cost or the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out that with a commercial building, you can kind of spread that risk across multiple units. And so I was looking for 3-unit apartment buildings up to like 5 and 10 units. And we actually acquired our fourplex last year, and it's going to be a year in July from our ownership. Challenging a lot of the assumptions that people make regarding human behavior. To start off with that, I guess, is, for example, in my company where I work as an engineer, it's called Honeywell Untitled. They have a unlimited vacations benefit, right? And when, for example, if you had your own company and you were kind of going to provide that benefit, the first question that you will have is, are people going to abuse it? Is this something that people are going to take advantage of? And, Honeywell, what they've done very well is that they've realized that by using data, they understand that people do not take advantage of it. So I kind of took that into consideration. And when I was looking at my building, I kind of thought, can I offer a little bit of a better renting for my tenants? So I decided to go with an all-included sort of rent model, where I'm including all utilities, fully furnished apartment, garage, washer and dryer, and all that stuff for one flat rent. So I realized that really helped a lot. For me, I grew up with a single mother in Caracas, Venezuela, and my mother will make this home meals that are very native in Venezuela called arepas, and we'll have some nice conversations, some nice dinner times. I'll usually come home like after playing soccer all day, pretty much on the weekends, and just having a fun time.
What was in arepas?
It's kind of like a corn flour that it's usually stuffed with like chicken or cheese and things like that. I still make it, and my wife, who's from Cincinnati, loves it.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. Very cool. So were you the type of person growing up that had businesses that they started, whether that be mowing the grass or selling candy or anything like that? Did you have the entrepreneurial bug early, or?
Yes. After I immigrated to the U.S., I came to the States in 2009. I didn't know the language. I didn't know the culture. We kind of struggled a lot financially. So at the age of 14, I found myself just getting some jobs here and there to kind of help my mom. I did everything from like mowing lawn to working at factory jobs to, working in construction sites, a lot of different things. So I kind of did whatever I had to do to, make ends meet from that end. And then that continued on once I was in college and I was past this sort of survival mode. It kind of, I started doing several things, and I will talk a little bit more. So like I did DoorDash, like Uber, a lot of sort of the new things that are coming up. And when I acquired my first building, I started doing like Airbnb and some of the other short-term rentals and looking for opportunities to try new things.
Yeah. Now, was this always, did you guys move to Cincinnati right away when you came to the US, or did you kind of move around a little bit, or?
Yeah, so this is the first place that we came to, Cincinnati. And, the first few years we moved like about 7 times. Our housing situation was kind of unstable. One of the first places that we moved into was this small apartment that some people welcomed us into their home. and there were about 5 or 6 people in there, and my mom and I were sleeping on like this twin size bed. And we did that for some time. um, and we kind of lived in different places, like including like a trailer home,
Hmm.
until my mom was able to save enough money to buy her first home and be a
That's
little bit
great.
more stable.
Yeah, no, that's great. So you went to college and you started to get the bug to start looking at properties. Any idea where that came from, or what drew you to real estate?
Yes. So when I was in college, my mom, so I was an international student, so we had to pay tuition up front. So my mom, the first year or so, had like 2 jobs and was trying everything she could to make ends meet and save enough money to pay for my tuition. And I was working and studying as well. And she, once I got some scholarships and I was doing a little bit better than surviving, my mom started looking into real estate. So she bought her first house for like $10,000.
Hmm.
Um, and that was kind of the the way of getting into real estate. I started helping her, kind of doing some improvements here and there, and doing some things and kind of learning on my own. So after several houses doing that and flipping houses, I kind of learned that I wanted to get into real estate. What I learned as well is what I wanted to do and not to do. So I knew that single family houses wasn't what I wanted to do.
And why is that?
Primarily because of, um, well, when you get into real estate and you're just starting out, single families are great because they're very affordable. However, what I found is that there's a little bit of a greater risk, because if the tenant doesn't pay the rent, um, then you don't have any other way to sort of be able to come up with the money for either the cost or the mortgage.
Hmm.
So I found out that with a commercial building, you can kind of spread that risk across multiple units. Um, and so I was looking for 3 unit apartment buildings up to like 5 and 10 units. And
Hmm.
we actually acquired our fourplex last year, and it's going to be uh, a year in July from
Yeah.
our ownership.
That's fantastic. And so what were some of the things that you had to solve when you were just getting into real estate? So I know that it sounds like maybe your mom had made the first jump and you kind of helped her when you made your own leap into real estate, or maybe you guys are still even partners. I don't know. But what are some of those initial things that you've learned now that um, you didn't know before you started purchasing properties?
Yeah, so I've learned a lot of things throughout the way. And one of the things that I was looking at from the beginning was, how can I sort of mitigate a lot of the common challenges that most landlords face, especially like managing a building. You want to like reduce your risks and like, uh, you know, try to get rid of some of the common issues like people losing keys and stuff like that. So I started looking into like smart home devices, a lot of like digital deadbolts, and things like that. So what I did is that I bought a Schlage deadbolt that was as smart for the building, and I bought a digital deadbolt for each unit. So
Hmm.
I got rid of the keys and that whole issue of losing the keys, because one time I locked myself out in the apartment. None of the tenants were in the building. My wife wasn't around, and I had to wait like 2 hours for somebody to get home.
Yeah.
And I was like, this cannot be. So
Yeah.
if we have a plumber coming into the building to do some work, I don't want to have to come to the building. I could just give them a temporary code. They can come in and do what they need to do, and continue on. So that helped a lot. Um, and then the other thing was, um, challenging a lot of the assumptions that people make regarding human behavior. Um, to start off with that, I guess, is, for example, in my company where I work as an engineer, it's called Honeywell Integrated. they have a unlimited vacations benefit, right? And when, for example, if you had your own company and you were kind of going to provide that benefit, the first question that you will have is, are people going to abuse it? Is
Mm-hmm.
this something that people are going to take advantage of? And, Honeywell, what they've done very well is that they've realized that by using data, they understand that people do not take advantage of it. So I kind of took that into consideration. And then when I was looking at my building, I kind of thought, can I offer a little bit of a better renting for my tenants? So I decided to go with an all-included sort of rent model,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm including all utilities, a fully furnished apartment, garage, washer and dryer, and all that stuff for one flat rent.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized that really helped a lot, in that I realized that people weren't abusing it either.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, the utilities is kind of a variable cost for us as landlords, and it was kind of my fear. But at the same time, it was bringing a lot of attention from people. So sort of that one flat rate. So it was kind of interesting.
So do you have a waiting list now, basically? Has word spread around where you guys have this, this great package where everything, is all included? So, word just kind of gotten out, or um, how does the marketing side look for you?
Yeah, so I definitely was able to fill the apartment very, very quickly. I was able to rent it um, a lot faster than I expected. So um, when I remodeled one of the units, which is what I had to do when I bought the, the, the building, um, I decided to do short-term rental. So
Mm-hmm.
I was renting it through Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, and TripAdvisor. And after the pandemic hit and nobody was traveling and all my bookings got canceled, I decided to do that with this one apartment back in March. And I was getting inquiries
Hmm.
um, uh, every single day, and I kind of had to stop it because I couldn't receive any more applications. Um, and so, we got somebody in within 2 weeks. That worked out very well.
So,
And
so is this, so you've done this with one unit so far, right? The
two now.
renting and two? Okay. So you're building it out. Um, are you, are these people still short term? Are they, basically still running through Airbnb or did you move them over into typical lease or?
No, so I moved them into a lease. With the Airbnb, I only had it with one apartment. And the interesting thing is that it was a themed Airbnb, so it was Harry Potter themed.
Okay.
So my wife and I were big fans, and we just kind of wanted to try something
I
different.
love it.
And
Yeah. What's the
we,
what's the what's the favorite piece in the house? Favorite Harry Potter piece that you've put in the house?
oh man. So I went to an antique store in Fairfield, which is probably like about half an hour from where our building is. And I saw in there like an armored knight
Hmm.
medal that was like 5 feet tall, and it looked incredible. And I saw it at that store, and I thought, man, that looks it just very impressive.
Yeah.
And I left the store and I didn't buy it, and I went to like I think it was like Home Depot or Walmart, and I couldn't stop thinking about this thing. So I just dropped everything I had, and I just went back to the store and bought it real. And I remember leaving the store and having somebody like who was passing me, and they were like, "Man, there's nothing else cool like that in this
Yeah.
place."
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
So
so are you expanding out on this themed program, or is the other unit more traditionally decorated?
it is. So after the pandemic hit, we unlisted it. But once things continue to go back to normal and people start flying and traveling again, we'll definitely
Yeah.
do it again. We had people from like 7 different countries, over 100 guests for the
Wow.
time that we had it.
How long did you have it running
It was
for?
for about 4 to 5 months.
Wow, that's
Um,
good. That's really good. That's cool.
and
So is the area where the apartment located at, is it a touristy area, or is it just, regular neighborhood area, and you basically drew people there, because of this unique, the unique decorations in the property?
yeah, it's definitely a pretty regular area. I mean, we are approximately 15-20 minutes from downtown Cincinnati,
Okay.
which is where all the action is, where all the events are. But this neighborhood is kind of in a transitioning um, location, and, where new shops are kind of coming up and things like that. But it's very diverse as well, which I really like. So we hope that in the near future, it continues to improve
Yeah.
um,
That's
and
great. That's great. Yeah, like I said, I've heard of other people doing, Airbnbs and VBRO, but it always seemed like those homes were in, areas that would attract uh, uh, people there just because of where it was. It was close to a stadium, or close to the theaters or something like that. There's some other type of attraction. So I really like the fact that you pretty well made your own attraction to bring people to a neighborhood, and you bring them in that way. So that's really, really cool. I like that a lot. So what would you say, what's next? What are you looking to do next?
yeah. So I am currently in the process to apply to grad school. And I've kind of teased my wife about buying other buildings and continuing to grow this, but she just graduated with her master's in genetic counseling, and I want to go for my master's as well, like an MBA. So that's kind of what we have in the horizon for now, and then just kind of um, uh, continue to expand. This was a great opportunity to sort of start building wealth,
Mhm.
especially for me as somebody who came to the States, approximately 10 years ago and didn't have anything at all. Um, and, trying to, you know, help my family kind of um, as well, who are in Venezuela. And one of the things that I'm looking at that I didn't mention is in the near future, I'm looking to partner with an organization here in Cincinnati that does refugee resettlement.
Mm.
So they have a refugee resettlement program that help other immigrants who are coming here to Cincinnati, and they're looking for landlords uh, to provide affordable housing.
Mhm.
So, since my wife and I are kind of in a really good position, we've kind of discussed the opportunity to help other people who um, came and are in the same position that I was 10 years ago.
I love it. I love it. And that would be from anywhere in the world, or
Um,
is there like Venezuelan programs that you could tap into?
uh, they help people from all over the world. There's people
Mhm.
who've come from the Middle East. There are refugees. There are people who are coming from South America and other countries to Cincinnati. And since it's a sanctuary city, I kind of want to continue to support that. Um,
I love it.
and
Yeah, that's
hopefully we
cool.
can participate on that.
Yeah, that's very cool. And you are launching a YouTube channel soon too?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So uh, as I mentioned, when I was in college, in my junior year, I was trying to learn as much as I could about real estate, and especially commercial real estate. And I kept looking and searching, and I wish that I had the resource of somebody who will kind of share those difficult moments that they were facing, who will share the time that they were spending managing their building, what are the common issues that they were facing, how do they mitigate those issues, what are some of the cool things they did here and there to kind of increase the income from this building. So I'm kind of gonna do that, and hopefully I can have some guests as well to talk about their experience and
Hmm.
do some product reviews of some things that I've acquired that have helped me significantly as a landlord, um,
What
and go
what
from
what
there.
are what are one of those things that you've acquired? What's your favorite thing?
Well, the digital smart deadbolts, definitely.
Okay.
Having no keys has been a huge improvement. Everybody has a code. If we have a guest or somebody doing some work in the building, they can just have a temporary code, and I don't have to show up every time. Or if somebody loses their keys, that's not really an issue. As well as like smart thermostats,
Hmm.
like from Google Nest, that really has helped improve some of that variable cost of the heating and the air conditioning, as well as some other quirky things such as like pipe labeling that has helped me kind of identify which labels for which um, pipe is for which apartment,
Hmm.
and valve shutoffs and things like that, as well as like smart water leak sensors that can
Hmm.
detect if there's a leak somewhere. Things like that have really helped make things easy.
I love it. I love it. So if someone wanted to reach out and connect with you, maybe ask you some questions or what have you, what would you say the best way to do that would be?
Yes, so I actually have an email in which I contact all the tenants, and I do all that stuff related to my building, and that's rental service at 1519 W North Bend.com. And that's the primary email that I'm currently using. When I grow the YouTube channel and start doing those, I will have um, some additional uh, emails. And
Yeah, yeah. Well, let us know when you get that up and running. We'll tag it in the show notes and hopefully send you guys some traffic. So no, this is great. This is interesting. I love some of the things that you've done. So it's always interesting hearing how other people have tackled the challenges that you run into in this business. So I love it.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
No problem, Richard. Thank you very much.